Hey guys, it's Moon here. I hope you guys are doing alright. I am a singer-songwriter, professional singer-songwriter, musician. I live in South Africa. And yeah, tonight's video, I just want to talk about songs. Just basically the basic structure of songs and a little bit what a song means to me and my concept of a song and songwriting. And also share with you guys that my philosophy, I wouldn't say religion, but my philosophy in life since I was a kid, messages, my life lessons, a lot of that stuff came from songs. It came from listening to musicians and songwriters and songs on the radios and on albums, and I got a lot of my education, my soul education, or however you want to call it, from songs. And a song is something that I've been almost, not really consciously, but always been kind of studying in a way, always listening and studying while I'm listening my whole life, understanding what the different parts of a song mean and how to apply it almost. I see myself as a singer-songwriter mainly, and my subgenres are, I call myself a fantasy singer-songwriter, fantasy style singer-songwriter, or a fantasy folk artist, alternative. I love gothic, I love metal. These days I'm thinking of myself as a theatrical singer-songwriter because I love the type of themes that you would get psychologically, spiritually and emotionally with singer-songwriters like Leonard Cohen and Nick Cave and Tori Amos and all of that, Nick Drake, but mixed with fantasy, mixed with the gothic fantasy genre of films. So to bring those two together, so to have a deep psychological and spiritual message, but maybe portraying it a bit more visually, like a movie or a book or something like that. So, but yeah, songwriting is something so fascinating. And if you start looking at songs and how they used to write songs, say in the 80s, I mean, I grew up in the 70s and 80s mainly, in terms of songwriting, and the structure of pop songs that time would be a intro, a verse one, verse two, pre-chorus, chorus, verse three, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, maybe a little bit of an instrumental and an outro. And the formula has always been mostly found in pop music, but I must say there were quite a few amazing pop songs in the 80s when I grew up. I felt that the melodies were really strong, but that structure, as singer-songwriters, we don't really use that structure specifically, although it is quite popular still to stick with a verse and a pre-chorus and a chorus and a bridge somewhere in between. So being it in pop or singer-songwriter, more folky, acoustic style, or even in other genres of music, I want to talk a bit about what these mean to me, what these specific structures mean to me, or specific parts of a song mean to me. So intro is mainly a continuation of the verse, or a pre-musical piece that mimics the verse, or it might have some sort of a hook that you find in the beginning and the end, instrumental, and then your verse 1 and verse 2, that's where your storytelling begins, and it's always so cool for me, especially in the old days, where they specifically made sure that there's a verse 1 and a verse 2 before you go to the chorus, and then after the first chorus you'll only get one verse, because then the song starts speeding up. But verse 1 and verse 2, so the storytelling begins, and the verse usually have a little bit of a more subdued quality to it, and then it kicks up to the pre-chorus where the energy starts picking up, and also the chord progression and the melody and the chord progression and the just the basic feel of the song starts picking up, and then the chorus is the explosion, and the bridge always has been my favorite part of the song, because I always tell my students that the bridge is the part where you can actually rest your ear. You rest or change the predictability on the ear, where your chorus and your verse and your intro and all of that has got some sort of a predictive chord progression or melody in a way. The bridge can turn all of that around, not only sonically, not only melodically, or by using different types of chord progression and a different type of melody that almost goes in the opposite direction. You can always also use the bridge to sing about, or to talk about, to write about something in the song or something in your story that either changes, or it uplifts, or it breaks down, or it turns the whole song on its back. You can go in the opposite direction of the message of the song, or you can put a piece in there that's completely unexpected. So the bridge has always been one of my favorite parts of the song. And then the instrumental. In old days, in the 80s, there was quite a lot of lead parts with electric guitars going on. But instrumental can obviously be any sort of instrument. Licks and riffs and that type of thing is also very popular. But the basic aspects, I sometimes find that when people talk about songwriting or songs or music, or music, when I teach music, they don't always begin at the beginning. So just to end off with, if we think about a melody, for instance, a melody is basically one note after another, whereas a chord is a few notes put together to make a chord, and then a chord progression are a few chords put together to make a chord progression. So that's kind of like the chronological order of it. But the melody in a song goes on top of the chord progression. The chord progression consists of chords. But at the end of the day, the melody is almost the most important part of the song. So if you can sing a song, if you don't have an instrument with you, if you can sing a song, you've got the melody and the words. And even if you take the words away and you can whistle that melody, you've got the song. So I do believe that your melody is your most important part of your song in a way, because a strong melody, the signature melody, a strong melody, seems to be one of the most important parts of a song for me. That doesn't mean that that songs always have to have a very complex or a very unique melody, because there are a lot of songwriters who've always also managed, in fact, sometimes it's another type of signature to not have the strongest melody, but really, really strong words, and just a repetitive melody that kind of keeps on going with very repetitive words, repetitive melody with very strong words. Someone like Leonard Cohen, but there's a quality to the words that makes the song. But in general, a strong melody line for me would say, if you have a strong melody line, you've got a strong song. And that seems to have changed for my ear over the years. Melodies of popular music changed in a way that I remember there was a period where I thought, but wait a minute, it's almost like songs are, the songs that you hear on the radio sound more like jingles than songs because it's shorter and it doesn't have that specific attention to creating a quality melody, and there's just this repetitive kind of jingle-like feel to the songs instead of a good strong melody. So yeah, for I would say to advise someone to write a song that's got a good strong melody line is to play around with an instrument and play a chord progression, and from the chord progression start singing. Even if you don't have the words yet, start singing, go into yourself, go into your feel, your music, your mood and whatever is coming up in your mind. And as you start singing, the words will come to you. And singing on top of the chord progression will give you a sort of a melody. Keep on playing the chord progression over and over again, and the melody will take you to the next part of the song, and then the chord progression will go towards that direction as well. So I usually first play my chord progression. I would sit with my guitar and just play and play and play and play over and over and over the same chord progression, and then I start singing, and then the words come, and then the melody, it kind of builds itself. And then there's certain sections in the song, you build from the one section to the next section to the next section. And it's interesting because someone might say, but I would like to sit down and write the melody first. Sure, I think if you can read music and if you're really good at music theory, writing a melody might be easier. But the chords do help to create almost like a kind of like a blanket for you, so that you can like a stream of energy, musical sonic energy, so that you can be able to create your own melody. And some people choose to maybe write the words first, which is also something that can work. In my case, I need the music because I feel so strongly about music is the first thing. I need the music to entice me, my soul and my mind to come up with the words. So yeah, so that is what I wanted to share with you guys today, just some basic aspects on songwriting. And there's so much more to say about songwriting, and we will definitely chat again.